Hello, sellers. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling on eBay. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I finally got settled back in from eBay Open. I don't mean finally. It takes me a couple of days to unpack. And actually, I give myself permission to take a couple of days to unpack. Oh, gosh, it was so wonderful. Those of you who I met in Vegas, please comment, say hi. Reach out to me on social media. Let's continue the conversation. It was such fun. Oh, I learned so much, and I'm going to give you key takeaways. And also from an insider point of view, because if you don't know, I was in the opening keynote. So yes, that was me in the red top with the cold shoulder. So thank you for all the shout outs I got. I saw a friend of mine was reporting saying I got a lot of shout outs in the chat. So thank you, chat people that were watching virtually. I appreciate it. And again, everybody that I met in Vegas. So come on in. I'm going to do key takeaways from Open, and I'm going to give it to you from my perspective, obviously, because it's me. And I've got a perspective that I haven't seen anybody else. I'm looking for a fun prop, and I can't find anything. So I'm trying to think. Fun props use. Oh, okay. Hang on. Oh, actually, this is cute. I think this is from last year's Open. Key takeaways from eBay Open. My little eBay International Shipping doll here. This is on my desk. Hi, Tina. Tina from Wisconsin, thank you for joining me. So this is my key takeaways for you. When you look at the replays, I really encourage you to go through them. And they will be available on the eBay YouTube channel. So a couple of tips on watching replays on YouTube channels. If you're not aware of this, you can speed them up. Now, I don't encourage you to do 2 times because literally it's like gobbledygook and you can't understand a thing. But you can bump it up to like 1.25 or 1.5, and that can help you. And if you're not aware of that, let me know if you ever speed up YouTube's. I do. Like usually to 1.25 because I can still understand it. And there's so much good content from eBay Open. I personally am going to go through every single video. I think at this point I've gone through like 3. If you don't see it on the eBay YouTube channel, if you signed up for it through Bevy, and that's the platform that it was live streamed on, you can log in. And when I looked, like everything was there. It's still up there, the replays. So take a look at that. When you're watching content, because this is one that sometimes people go, oh, but so-and-so said this, and then so-and-so said this, and so-and-so said this, is executives. When Jamie Iannone, he is eBay's CEO. When he speaks, when it's a keynote, Shadi, Dawn, Emily, that is like they are overall. Their stuff is absolutely, this is the word from eBay. They tend to give us the big picture. And that's why, you might want to go, oh, I'm just going to skip the keynotes. I don't advise that. It gives you the big picture. This is the vision. This is where we're going when it's coming from Jamie. He's our CEO. And I got to tell you, the day one keynote, and I'm on a seller panel at the very end, so do enjoy watching them. Let me know what you think, is, for instance, like Shadi and the gentleman who was the head of AI. And if you don't know this, the word AI was used probably, and people that watched and were there in person, you tell me, 200 times, 300 times. AI was definitely the word of the day, is they gave really good information. And the other thing is you have slides in the background calling out what they're talking about, which can be really, really, really helpful. I am the queen of cell phones when I'm watching presentations. Yes, I know I can go back through it later. Yes, I know I can see it on YouTube. I screenshot, and you let me know if you do this too. When I'm watching and I'm sitting there in the front row and I'm up there with my phone taking screenshots. Not when I was on stage, that would be a bit much. And I'm screenshotting the screens of information that really pops out to me. And the reason I do that is it really helps for me to retain it. I'm very much a visual learner, so I really appreciate the screenshotting and the slides that they have really helps me a lot, in addition to listen to them. So when you listen to keynotes, that is going to be very senior staff and executives. It's going to be the big picture. But interestingly enough, a lot of the keynote has a lot of information in it. Again, Shadi and the gentleman who was the head of AI had a ton of content. Dawn had good content. She's the VP of Americas. And Emily, who was the brand manager, I believe she was day 2, if I remember correctly. She put up all the influencers. So what eBay's doing is they're not doing these national ads except for eBay Motors with the McLaren thing with the cars, and I'm not a motor person, and I watch NASCAR some. And if you want to see eBay ads, watch NASCAR, because that's where they are, showing the different influencers they're working with. So then you see, oh, this is who is putting the word out about eBay, and also look at them and look at their vibe. This is what eBay is looking to appeal to. And a lot of marketing now is done with what is called influencers. So it's not a national ad on television or on cable. It's influencer people that are on their Instagram account or their YouTube account, and they're putting information out about eBay. I also see these influencers. So I'm here in New York City, and I'll be walking up to Columbus Circle, which is like New York City's version of a mall. There's a big Whole Foods there. There's a Williams-Sonoma there and other big stores. And on the bus stops, I literally will see eBay ads with some of these influencers showing off different things about eBay. And it's such good placement because you have tons and tons of people that go into this mall thing, and it's at the entrance where tons and tons of people are going in. Also a lot of international, because New York City's an international city, and it's the bus stop. So it's people getting on and off the buses are seeing this. It's like a big hub area, if you know Columbus Circle. So really good on that. So again, different ways of reaching our buyers. I really got a sense of the work that they are doing to reach our buyers. It's no coincidence that Google was one of the presenters. They presented there with, if the gentleman's not the head of eBay search, he's pretty high up. So it was really interesting to see that a person from Google was at eBay Open to present on Google search for eBay. And that's one session I plan to really, really, really dig into and take extensive notes. And I encourage you, it's good to listen to other people like me that gives you insights. But I really encourage you, again, as you have time, and this is what I'm doing. I'm literally playing them. I'm playing them in the background as I'm doing my shipping and stuff. And if they say something or they're addressing something where I know I need to look at the slide, I just stop what I'm doing, and then I go to the video and I maybe rewind it a little bit and then go through that point again, so that I'm very, very clear about what they're talking about. And that's the next thing I want to talk about. So you have executives, senior staff doing keynotes, which tends to be sort of overall vision, but interestingly enough, a lot of detail. So don't sort of fluff up, because sometimes I know, we'll fluff off the keynotes like, oh, it's just sort of general. It wasn't. It is general. It is the big picture, but there's a ton of content in there. I mean, this eBay Open was packed with content. It really, really, really was. And that can be a bit overwhelming. And listen, there's no rush. It's not like your sales are going to go from $100 to $1,000 by listening to one video for eBay Open. Okay. You're going to digest it, and you're going to take what is going to help you. And this is the next point I want to point out. So 1, don't fluff off the keynotes. 2, you can speed up the replay, but I don't recommend speeding it up to 2 point. Is, and this, I'm going to raise my hand on this because I have done this in the past and I'm not going to do it. Listen to ones that you even think have nothing to do with you. So I listen because I have a membership, because I work with a lot of private clients. I listen to everything. I always have. But I tend to listen to some with more intent than others. And I just happened to click the collectibles panel. I'm like, let me listen to these guys. I don't sell in these categories. And right now I have no clients in these categories. And it's collectible trading cards. I know a lot of us are rolling our eyes. Comics. I have sold some comics, but this guy is like Mr. Comics. I mean, tons of comics. And then toys, which was interesting. And very high volume sellers. Okay. But interestingly enough, and I'm going to encourage you to listen for yourself, really, really, so I don't source what they're sourcing. I don't sell what they're selling. One gentleman is a big eBay Live seller. I don't sell on eBay Live. I have sold, you guys know this, or if you don't know, I sold on QVC shopping channel for over 6 years as a product presenter. So I'm very familiar with live selling, but I don't sell live right now. Is they had great, first of all, some really interesting sourcing information. And you might think, oh, that, I'm not sourcing comics and I'm not sourcing, toys and stuff. But it was interesting some of the ways they go about getting inventory. Again, these are very high volume sellers. And it's totally applicable for other categories, which I thought was really interesting. And I'll tell you one, and I'm hoping I'm saying this correctly. So one gentleman in collectibles, and I'm not going to say which category, found a local source, a local store that has a ton of this, and they're local, and they're not on eBay, and they don't have a website for whatever reason. I mean, I'm surprised. At least here in New York City, even tiny boutiques have websites. And so they have a ton of this inventory, and it's in demand on eBay, and they're having a tough time moving it. So this person, I don't know if they're doing a consignment relationship, if they're buying it outright. They didn't say, because again, when you find a honey hole, you're not going to like really give it away. But it got me thinking, which is keep an eye out for, I have another friend who will buy excess inventory. And you guys let me know if you ever do this, from a local boutique, and they sell it very successfully on eBay. So yes, thrift stops, say that one quickly, thrift stores. Yes, and I do retail arbitrage, so I'll go to Macy's clearance and flip. I'll go to Old Navy and flip. But also smaller stores, don't overlook, because they may have excess inventory. Either you've got into a consignment relationship with them, or you're going to buy it outright. And for this person, it sounds like they're buying it outright, but I could be wrong. Again, they didn't give all the details, but I thought, interesting. And again, where am I getting inventory? Where am I getting inventory? Where am I getting inventory? And to think outside the box. So that I thought was good. They also talked promoted listings, which was really interesting. Again, this is about collectibles. This is not a promoted listings. They don't work for eBay. These are sellers sharing what works for them. The one seller said exactly the percentages he does. He explained why he does the percentages, which is he has very tight margins in certain categories. And he freely gave out the percentage. And this is in collectibles. Now, this is the thing where I can see sellers, it can happen. So, for instance, you sell puzzles, and you will listen to a seller that is selling comic books. And he will say, and I don't think it was was it the comic book seller? I can't remember if he was comic books or if he was the cards. I think he was, I can't remember. Anyway, so I'll just say it was comic books, and you guys will listen and you'll correct me. So he said 2%. Okay. Now I know in that category it's much higher than that, but this is interesting because he said for his business, for his margins, that's what he could afford. So yes, they might be asking for a lot more. Yes, there might be other sellers that are doing a lot more, but that is what he could afford, okay, because of his margins. It's not that he can't afford it overall. This is a very successful, I'm going to guess, multiple six-figure seller, but because of the margins on his product, this is what's doable. So even with tight margins, and let's say you're clothing, let's say you are hardware, please, eBay, we sell everything. TV remotes, I've sold TV remotes, is what can you afford? Now, listen, if you've got killer margins, this gentleman clearly didn't. If you've got 80% margins and you're doing 2% and it's a 13% category, you might want to give eBay a little bit more money. But for this gentleman, his margins were very tight. He said, this is what I can afford. He's a business person. And listen, even if you sell part-time, you're making $50 a week. I'm telling you, you are a business person, right? Yes, you may be decluttering. Yes, we're saving things from the landfill. And we're also looking to make money. So look at your margins. But if you can afford more and eBay wants a lot more, I don't mean like you're giving them 2% and they want 4%. That's pretty good. You're giving them half. But if you're giving 2% and you can afford to do more, take a look at it because you do rank higher in search. Okay. So just food for thought. The other thing, all these collectible, and I'm telling you, this was a really good, and again, in the past, I would have probably, zoomed through it at 1.5 or 1.75. Lesson learned. I'm not going to do that. Or at least I'll listen to like the first half and see like, okay, is there stuff in here for me? And then maybe I'll make it go a little faster. They were great. They talked about quality of listing. They talked about keywords. And you can imagine for things like cards, and they talked Pokemon card, again, categories I don't sell in, comics, how important the keywords are, because that's how their buyers are finding them. Also quality of pictures. Okay. I also listened, who else was I listening to? I was listening to, oh gosh, I can't remember what the title is, but it was a seller workshop. And they were talking about the importance of keywords. There's a seller who sells a lot of clothing. Is that you've got to be using the keywords that your buyers are using. And if you don't, if you're just sort of throwing it up there haphazardly and not really thinking through, like, yes, it's a dress or whatever, but would they be searching the style? Would they be searching the fabric? You've really got to think with the toys, is it the color? Is it the make? Is it the country? Is it the overall, like, is it Mattel? Is it Disney? Is it handcrafted? Is it artisan? What words are going to matter? Because eBay search is driven by keywords. I'm going to say this because I watched the eBay search and the Google search one. Google search, they stood up there, driven by keywords. Okay, driven by keywords is a huge thing for ranking. Is how important that is. Hi, Melinda. How are you? Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So keywords. Oh, and one last thing. So you have senior staff executives, keynotes. Then when you're looking at the workshops, if you see people in blue shirts, and Jamie actually called this out from the stage, people in blue shirts, I think all the staff, there might be a few staff like in street clothes, but I would say 99.999%, they're in blue shirts. And in the front it said eBay, and the back it said staff. It was super helpful because you could spot them like anywhere. If you're like, and also at the booth, so immediately people in blue shirts, staff, okay, you'll see workshops with people in blue eBay shirts. They are eBay staff. Then you have workshops with sellers. I did one with a wonderful gentleman named Brad. We had so much fun on eBay listings. And please listen and please give me feedback. I love feedback. Message us. We love to hear. We got a lot of feedback there. Very, very helpful. But please feel free to hit me up on social media with feedback. I love it. Is when you are listening to a seller workshop, just to let you know, it's our content. All of us that are doing selling workshops, and God bless eBay for doing this, we were given full reign. We knew our topic, right? So you can't like we were doing eBay listings. So you don't all of a sudden talk about, I'm trying to think of something, eBay international shipping. Yes. I think we actually did mention it a little bit, but we didn't do a deep dive on that. We did a deep dive on eBay listings. But what we wanted to cover about eBay listings was totally left up to us. It is our content. You submit it, you rough it out, and then you give it to eBay, and thank goodness they make it look gorgeous and they put pictures on it so you don't have to do all that. But all the content in the seller workshops was created by those sellers. So again, you create it, you submit it to eBay, and they look. You have to realize that there's a legal team. They look at it because you can't just stand up there and say, whatever. They want to take a look at what you're saying. But for instance, there was one seller that was talking about sales. It must have been a sales and promotion workshop. And they do a lot of short-term sales, like 3 and 4 days. I did that years ago. And then I found that, sometimes it can take eBay like half a day for the sale to kick in. So I had stopped doing that and was doing more week, 10-day sales. I actually remember talking to a staff member. Again, this is years ago, not recently. And they were recommending, 2 and 3 week sales, which I personally think is too long, but you need to test it for your category. I remember one seller who sells bicycles, and he does 30-day sales, which I would never do, but it works for him. Okay. So when you're listening to the seller workshops, there's going to be things that are like, you could like look on the eBay site and it's there, it's like practically what they're saying is like, pretty much, it's on an official eBay page. Okay. And then other things like this wonderful seller talking about promotions, and what they were really promoting was short-term sales, but it works for them. They're sharing what works for them. And when you like the gentleman who does 2% in really highly competitive categories, but with his margins, that's what works for him. Now, is he saying all sellers should only do 2%? No. What he's saying is look at your category, look at what they want, and look at your margins. The woman advocating short-term sales, is she saying all sellers should do short-term sales? Short-term sales work for all categories? No, but some people will say that, and that's not what they're saying. So do not take what people are saying out of context. Do I sound emphatic on this? I do. I get nuts about this. Listen to what they're saying. My first question is always, what category are you selling in? Okay. What category are you selling in? And sometimes they need to be really specific. Collectibles is huge. Collectibles is a soups to nut category. Women's clothing is huge too. Is it moderate? Is it luxury? What's your price point? Okay. In women's clothes, what are you selling? Are you selling bathing suits or evening gowns? Again, what are you selling and what are your margins? And then you make the choices that are right for you. So I encourage you, listen to all of them. Okay. Definitely listen to other people. But when other people say things, sometimes it's real. And to give them the benefit of the doubt, because we like to give people the benefit of the doubt. We don't like to say, are you serious? Is context. When people pull stuff and it's like a 60-second soundbite, okay, beware. Because you can pull all kinds of 67, you guys know this. You can pull all kinds of 60-second and 10-second sound bites and make things sound what they're not. So remember, executives, who's talking? Executives, is it Jamie? Senior staff, like David Bernstein. He's been at eBay like 15 years. And Seller Hub. He knows Seller Hub. David is one of my favorite people to listen to because he's very knowledgeable and he's really good at explaining things. Okay. He's been at eBay forever. It would be like talking to Griff, who I'm going to miss because he's retired. Not only do they know what the current practice is, they know what it was 5 years ago and 4 years ago and 3 years ago and what changes it's gone through. I love, love, love listening to staff like that. Okay. Or is it a seller? And we love sellers. I'm a seller. You're a seller. And it's one thing when they're saying like eBay policy. Okay. This is, we did eBay listings. You get 80 characters. There's no, you don't get 85. You don't get 90. You don't guess. You get 80. Now it's up to you if you want to use them all, but you get 80. It's not something it's 80 for now. You never know what's going to change, right? But listen, know who you're listening to. We love variety. And listen to the content. And sometimes the slide can say one thing and then you got to listen to them because they actually bring clarity. Just so you know, the slide is like bullet points. The slide is to keep you on track. The slide is good. Did I talk about titles? Okay, good. Okay, good. Now we're on to pictures. The slides are to help you, so you don't lose your place as a presenter. Okay. But I'm telling you keywords. I heard keywords with the collectible guys. Okay. I heard keywords with David, his presentation. I heard keywords. Google was like keywords, because what it is informs eBay and it informs Google. It also informs your buyer. Like, what is this? Keywords. I have a guide for you. Because when I heard this, so I'm sitting here. And again, day one, it was like I was in the seller panel. So I was very focused on that. It was a lot of fun and a great honor. And I was on stage with super sellers. I got to tell you, backstage, we had so much fun. And you tell me, when you put 4 sellers together, what do you think we talk about? Selling. And we were from all over the US and had very different backgrounds. We had a blast. And I think it comes across in our panel. So you'll let me know. Is keywords. And I have written a guide. It happens to be a favorite topic of mine because it's what drives search. It's what gets you buyers. And remember, you're after the right buyer. You want the buyer that's going to buy your stuff. It's great to have window shoppers. It's great to have browsers, but we want that person that's going to click and buy. And your keywords will do that. So if you hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, and what you're looking for is, and I got to sit here and do this cute little thing. So hang on a second, you guys. You're looking for keyword domination to explode eBay sales. I put it half off. I said, you know what? I'm going to put it half off. I'm going to bless all my seller friends because this will really, 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 really help you. I explain all about keywords, what they are, why they're so important. I explain how to research them and research them quickly. I explain how to use AI and specifically ChatGPT, but you can use Gemini or whatever with the tips I'm giving you. Because again, you can hear that and go, Kathy, I have no idea how to do this. Well, I tell you how. And I give you a bunch of different tools that are free. I'm not telling you you don't need to use the paid ChatGPT. You can use the free one and the other tools I give you. that are going to help you quickly find great keywords for your listings. I explain keyword order, also super important for your listings, and I put it half off. Okay, so that's my blessing for you. So hop over to my website, I love to be selling, and grab keyword domination to explode eBay sales. Vicki said she's been a seller for 24 years. That's great. Melinda, on YouTube, they should live there for quite a long time. I think they even have the replays from last year, so you'll check that out. Oh, you're welcome. So again, take your time. For me, it honestly, probably 2 months to get through them all. And some I listen to multiple times because I'm like, I need to listen to that one again. Okay, but enjoy it. Grab this. It is only going to be on sale. It's half off for a couple of days, just because I wanted to bless everybody and give people a jump start on keywords. So grab it. Keyword domination to explode eBay sales. Enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye, Vicki. Bye, Melinda. Bye-bye, everybody.